We live.
Yes, yes, yes. It is the Cast Worthy Podcast. We are back at you for a pre Mother's Day episode.
It's Mother's Day.
It, I guess it is Mother's Day, right? Past midnight. Um, I am Big Steve, aka Last of a Dying Breed, joined with EJ, the Sophisticated Savage. This fine evening. It is Sunday, May 9th. And we are here. What's going on, sir?
Yo, first and foremost, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Specifically our mothers. My
Indeed.
auntie, your mother. My mother, your godmother. Crazy lady.
Very
Uh,
crazy.
happy Mother's Day to them first and foremost. But man, I got a confession. I got a
Already?
confession.
We just started already? All right.
Yo, so yeah, man. So homie of mine, an old homie of mine, has an old OnlyFans page.
Oh,
So, I
I
was
see
told
where
that, you
this is
know,
going.
I was told that it was like all types of, promotional, inspirational type things on there.
Oh, is that what it is?
I get on there, it is nothing but ass.
I mean, that's what OnlyFans is.
But some people have OnlyFans for all types of things. And I thought I was, getting into something wholesome here.
Rich people have OnlyFans for all types of things. Round the way, bitches have OnlyFans to try and make some extra rent money during a pandemic by showing the insides of their birthing canals.
I'm not mad. Um,
So you subscribed. What was the cost?
$5 one
Oh,
month.
$5 to see some insides of somebody. You went to high school with this person?
College.
Yeah, it seems like money well spent. Like,
Listen, listen. You know what? I was curious. I didn't want, to go another
curious.
day without understanding how this thing works,
It's a good
what it
word,
looks like.
curious.
It was research for research purposes.
Oh, for the pod, right?
Yes, indeed.
We needed a topic.
Yes, indeed.
Mm.
So you get on there and you basically have your 1 month subscription, but then it's crazy because they send mass inboxes to all their subscribers with new content that you also have to pay for. I haven't done that, but yeah, I mean, hey man, mouth chair, I could do that.
T- Tell me more about this piece of meat. Was this somebody? Was this somebody that pre-seeing her naked you would have wanted to
Precisely,
visit? Okay,
absolutely. That's the
okay.
only reason I did it. I ain't gonna get an OnlyFans for something that I didn't have or did not want to have. So I wanted to see what was going on, but that wasn't my original intention.
Oh,
Okay, I thought it was actually going to something wholesome and informational.
oh, right. You have morals. I don't have any morals. So it's this weird thing about like seeing somebody naked that you know is more like enticing than seeing somebody naked that's like a porn star. You know what I'm saying?
No question.
Like seeing the neighbor, you know, happen to walk by the bathroom window topless,
Oh, talk about it.
allegedly. When
Talk
I
about it.
um is different than going online and seeing these fucking baddies and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I
you
know
want the
when
girl next door.
uh allegedly when I when I was 20. Um not now. My next door neighbors right now, some dog faces. It's a no-go for that. But when when I used to go to my sister's house on the weekends, she lived on the third floor, and on the second floor was this young thing. And
Was this in CT?
yes, this is in Connecticut.
Mm.
And she lived on the third floor, attic apartment. And when you looked out the third floor window of her bedroom window, you could see right into the restroom of the second floor in the next door neighbor. Not
Wow.
that I mean, it
Wow.
happened by accident
Hmm.
one time. Oh,
One time, then again, and again.
one time a week for about a year.
Oh my god. Yo, so that's why you went over there to visit your sister all the time, huh?
I was babysitting. You know, it just so happened I would babysit in my sister's room on her bed and keep, you know, the window open. And once in a
Mm.
while, the light next door might pop on in the restroom, and it might be shower time. You never know. Things like that happen. It was before camera phones and all of that. So, but
You're a creep.
no, it was an accident. Um,
Nah, man. OnlyFans is an interesting concept, man. And I was talking to somebody last week, and just saying, I remember the struggles that we had to go through to indulge on the dirty stuff. From breaking in Unc's trunk with the goodies, with the mags and the videotapes. Could you imagine if we had the internet and the access to stuff that we have now? I don't
if
know what
we
I do.
Yo, if I had access to this stuff when I was younger, I'd be dehydrated today. I'd probably be 100 pounds lighter right now.
I'm
Still,
trying to tell you, man.
I was talking about this with my homie at work. We were talking just about in general, and you know, we talking about back in the day when the internet pop. My first like internet porn that I ever seen was Roseanne Barr's titties.
What? On what?
Like back in the day when the internet first popped out, because we always had computers in the crib. Pops was a teacher and shit.
Facts.
And so when the internet first started, we would, I would get on there and go into
That
chat rooms and
good
shit.
old dial up.
Yeah, and then people, somebody pick up the phone in the house, you get kicked off. Then people would start sharing video, sharing images. Someone would send you picture and shit. And the first piece of porn I ever seen on the internet was Roseanne Barr's titties.
True story.
True story.
I was in one of those said chat rooms at one point in life, and this older woman, white woman.
Yesterday.
No. This had to be 90 something, sent me all of these homegrown joints. And guess who found out? My good old mother.
White.
I think she might have been more mad that the lady was white.
White.
But I don't know. I'm speculating, but man, I never seen her so upset, but not upset at me at the same time.
Yeah. So I think Yahoo changed the game back in the day. Yahoo was the first one like for you to have like chat rooms where you could just click on somebody and they'd be on camera. And then
Mm.
and then they got banned because like it would just be people naked on their cameras and kids and shit would be like, or teenagers or 13-year-olds allegedly
Super
uh
facts.
would be in there. And yeah.
I know I
Yeah.
was.
So OnlyFans, you got on this person's OnlyFans. This was your first experience with OnlyFans?
Yeah. 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 And
Do you
it
you
wasn't
don't have
bad.
any other subscriptions?
No, because everything's free now. There's no need.
Oh, right. Of course.
There's no need. I mean, back in the day, you used to try to get the passwords to the joints. You know what I mean? Remember people was getting them joints, like the free accounts to the different joints. You come across that, you was in the business. But nah, man, now everything's free. Everything is at your fingertips.
And you can be anonymous
Yes,
for
indeed.
the OnlyFans person. So like this young lady that was in my homeroom in high school, she was on Instagram and she's like, "Oh, I got an OnlyFans. Check me out." You
Hmm.
know, she just posted that, not to me, but to everybody.
Mm.
I'm like, oh, you know, she was all right in high school. Let me check it out. You know what I'm saying?
Was it free?
No, no, I, no, wasn't free. So I
Moving
created
on
a
amicably. Oh,
yeah.
you created one?
I mean, I created an anonymous one. It was for support of a friend in need.
That's my point.
Obviously, if she's on OnlyFans, she needs it. It wasn't like I didn't care what I saw, but I did see. I
Yeah.
did see. And then she got COVID. Um, she put it on her OnlyFans and was like, you know, I'm
Was
not gonna
she
be around for a while. She had the oxygen in her nose and shit. And I'm like, I didn't pay $14.99 to see you dying. Like this is not a thing. But yeah. So that's your first OnlyFans subscription. Do you foresee yourself getting any more OnlyFans subscription? Or only if you know the people?
we'll revisit this.
Mm.
We'll revisit it. I don't know. It's different, man. I ain't ashamed. Damn that.
I mean, if
Oh,
I was a single man, I'd rather see real people.
OnlyFans is to come up.
OnlyFans is the
And
come
if
up.
you're not on there, how are you gonna learn? How you gonna learn? No. It's research purposes, baby. But moving on amicably.
Would you let your significant other have an OnlyFans?
Hell no. For what?
The money's right. You
I
know,
mean,
there's some
I-
broads on OnlyFans that reported making over 150, 200,000.
absolutely. No question. But I
Like if
mean,
you're
at that point, she's no longer yours. She's for the streets.
But is she for the streets? Because the streets is only seeing on OnlyFans.
Yeah, but then you get the fans, you get the stalkers, you know what I mean? You definitely can't go nowhere now. Anywhere you go, it's a wrap. And then what's her incentive for staying with your ass?
If you if you had a choice, would you prefer her be a OnlyFans person or a stripper?
A stripper.
Why?
Because I feel
Strippers
like
lap dances. There's touching.
true,
Like
depending
she
on the
got
club. It
to
depends on the
make
club.
listen to make 100,000 as a stripper. She gotta be in the back, like
She not gonna
like
make 100,000 being a stripper. Yeah.
right, like the Dominicans from the Bronx. They used to. Never mind.
What, Sue's Rendezvous? That was shout out to Sue's Rendezvous. If you've been to
To
Sue's
make
Rendezvous, make some noise.
Yeah, to make 100 as a stripper is almost unheard of unless So on
That's your Cardi B.
OnlyFans, but on OnlyFans you make 100 a year. She can make 100 a year.
I don't need it like that. We don't need it like that. I mean, I would think, listen, I've always said this in America, if I ever really hit rock bottom, I'm going on the camera. I'm gonna lose about 25, 35. I'm going on the camera. This is before I had kids, but
Like Cameron, you're gonna be doing the Dougie.
I'm gonna be doing the camera. Or like Cameron been doing with his neighbor recently.
Ah, yeah. I said yeah. If I ever get broke like that, I'm doing a fat transfer straight to the penis, and and I'm moving to LA
Yeah.
like ASAP. Like these bitches is moving fat to their ass. I'm moving fat straight to the wiener, and moving to LA.
Yeah, like Cam said, in the earth, you can't get paid in the earth this big. You worthless kid. You don't
Mm.
deserve to live. It's too much out here.
Or just
But I
sell
mean,
drugs.
you got it. But then you gotta think, your kids, kids are cruel. They gonna find you. They gonna find your parents on the internet, bro.
Right.
You gonna find you on the internet, bro. So
Yeah. You gotta be careful, man. You just gotta be careful nowadays. And even if they don't see it now, they're gonna see it when they hit 13, 14. Somebody gonna find it and talk about it.
yeah,
Internet's crazy. Internet's
yes
crazy.
indeed.
You've been watching basketball at all?
Yeah, man, I've been catching the highlights of my Knicks. We on a 2-game losing streak right now, so I'm hoping that we could pick something up and keep our 4th place spot. But it's a little rough streak we on right now.
Yeah, the Knicks. I mean, like I said, man, and a lot of people have said it. MSG in the playoffs is something different. Whether you like the Knicks or not, watching games on Madison Square Garden, or in Madison Square Garden on TV in the playoffs is different than watching any other team. The only other one that would have been close would have been the days when Jordan was playing, and you see in Chicago, and you got the whole intro music. You know what I
One of
mean?
the
Like,
best, one of the best ever, no
but other
question.
than that, right? So it's good to see for me the Knicks playing. And I'm glad that they're not at 7 right now because they be in the play-in. But speaking of that, it's looking like the Lakers, man. LeBron can't stay healthy. AD can't stay healthy. He's in and out. Kuzma probably beefing with his shorty. He put up 6 points, 7 points last night or some crazy shit. Trash. Light skinned niggas is losing because of Kuzma. Steph Curry trying to hold us down, but light skins is losing.
Yeah, it's about to get rough for them because if they stay at where they at, they're gonna have to play the Warriors. And
Well, oh
they
yeah,
might,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
they have to play the Warriors. That's like freaking finals, a playoff finals. You talking about years ago? This is a playoff finals.
Yeah, if there's no change, 7 plays to 8, they play the Warriors. The way Steph is shooting right now, lights out. This man put up 21, 27 tonight in the first quarter.
Yeah,
Crazy. I think he scored 49 points tonight.
don't
Bradley Beal
nobody
went for 50.
don't nobody want to see the Warriors right now in the playoffs and the Lakers right now because of their position. Unfortunately, they're gonna have to battle, and I don't think that's a series that they can win right now.
You think, well, yeah, I mean, because Bron's been out so long. So we saw when he came back for that one game, he was rusty. So he don't got the turn it on shit like he was when he was younger. You think he deserved the backlash that he got when he was so they said that he was a champion of the play-in um last year in the beginning of the year, etc. He made a comment like, let it'd be great to see these teams kind of battle it out to get that last spot,
Hmm.
right? Because
Hmm.
he's always been at the top. And now
Hmm.
that they're falling, he was like, whoever came up with it is trash and deserves to be fired. Like, you think he deserved that backlash or
Absolutely, absolutely. Because that was when the rich were rich, and now you sat out thinking that I don't know what he was thinking because whether he was hurt or seriously hurt, I don't know. Maybe I think he might have been trying to coast to let things ride out and get a little rest, but you thought your team was what it wasn't, and now you stuck. You know what I mean? And now you down there, so now you gotta now when it could have been a little easy road for you because you gotta think the play-ins start May 18th, and then the playoffs start shortly after. So while you could have had some extra rest if you had a higher seed, now you might have to face the biggest test of any team in the West by going against a hot ass Golden State team where you was chilling at some point.
and then if you do win that and you come in at the 7th seed, then you still got to play a top 2 seed like a Denver or I forget who's maybe Utah is
Utah, yep, Utah's up
is
there.
up there,
Denver,
which
Utah,
I mean, Utah's tough because they don't have Donovan Mitchell right now, but if he's back for the playoffs and they're at full power, they're tough. Joker, Jokic
killing
looks
them.
like he's a monster. He's a
Looking like
monster.
MVP right now.
He's looking like MVP, but they're not gonna give a center MVP. Shaq's the last center that got MVP.
I think him. I think him or Embiid definitely should get hella consideration. James Harden was up there, but this man has set out so many games. I don't know that you can really put him up there now.
Nah, fuck all of them. Russell
Who's your
Westbrook.
MVP?
Russell Westbrook is the
Talk to me.
MVP.
That's my guy. That's my young boy, my son Roscoe.
Yo,
Roscoe.
Russell Westbrook deserved to be MVP. They need to give him Hall of Fame shit right now. Like, this man, he hit another triple double tonight.
Tied it.
33,
So he tied the record then.
33, 21, and 14 or some crazy shit tonight. The other night he went something like 17, 20, and 20. Like,
14, 21, and 20 something. Yep.
out of control. Out of
And
control.
he's balling. And the thing is, it's like he's always gotten criticism for doing this, right? But at the end of the day, It's like you want your point guard to facilitate and get rebounds. That's basketball 101. Facilitate, get rebounds, play defense. And he does all of that. And they were losing, and it wasn't off of his efforts. Bradley Beal was struggling, the guys around him was struggling. But like Scott Brooks said, once they learned how to understand Russ, they've been on a tear. And right now, if you in the East, you don't want to see the Wizards right now.
Yeah, Beal went for 50 tonight. Bradley Beal went for 50 tonight. Russ went for 33, another triple double. In that game, they played against Indy Sabonis, who had a triple double, and Karis LeVert had a triple double. I don't know. That must be the first time you had 3 people in a game with triple doubles.
To
Like
hell
they
with
had
Sabonis. He's the reason I lost in fantasy basketball. Him, James Harden, and Donovan Mitchell all been hurt when I needed them.
when they gonna stop saying Russell Westbrook is not a top 5 player or point guard in the league? When they gonna get this man his flowers? This dude is averaging triple doubles. Oscar Robertson rather, excuse me. He averaged a triple double one time, and before Russ ever did it, that was everyone's argument to be like, oh well, he's up there with Jordan and Magic. Now Russ did it. This will be his 4th season doing it, and they still like, he's not better than Dame Lillard. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's because he's not. He doesn't have any major endorsements that I know of. He's not a media person. He's not. He's not one of them guys that people like and they like to hate on him, man. But the kid balls. Like I don't understand. I never understood the argument against Russell Wilson. Russell Westbrook. I never understood it.
Yeah, he doesn't conform. He's got passion, tons of passion. And the only time you ever, only time you ever hear good stuff about like KD and Harden is when it's them talking about Westbrook, them being better than Westbrook. But other than that, you hear, oh, LeBron, Steph, this, Steph, that, and Steph is great. Don't get me wrong. Great shooter, one of the best ever, great handles. But Westbrook is something different. Like, I'm pretty sure he's something like 7 triple doubles in a row right now.
Yeah, I mean, I never understood like the criticism in the sense that when they went OKC, they were up 3-1. Now my thing has always been against KD. We're up 3-1. You're texting the enemy about coming to your team. How focused are you? How do we not know that it wasn't on your shoulders, that you didn't throw the game, that you didn't blow the game? And then, Harden, they didn't really have a good time there together to really flow because Harden was a 6-man coming off the bench. But, Russell stayed consistent. He's done what he's had to do. When he was in OKC, he was the only guy out there for a while. He was doing what he had to do. I never understood the criticism for Westbrook. Granted, he takes wild shots every now and then, but what star doesn't? You know what I mean? But he still puts up the numbers. He still gets you the assists. If you're a guy, if you put that kind of player on any other team with a consistent scorer, you're gonna have way more success. It's just that he hasn't had some of the best cast around him.
Yeah, and maturity, you can see his maturity in the triple double life that he lives now, the boards and the assists. I criticized him back when him and KD were together because KD was the better player at the time. You know what I'm saying? And Russ took bad shots, rushed up the court rather. KD wasn't, a leader at the time. He wouldn't take control of games, so they both got criticism from me. But
Mm-hmm.
I think Russ has matured so much. If he was back then the facilitator he is now,
I mean, he was still getting it back then. It just at times when he was deferring to somebody, KD wasn't mentally the guy that he had become later on, and it showed.
yeah. But I mean, like when you're talking about clutch shots that needed to be made at times back then, Russ would come up and take a crazy ass shot, rough brick or air ball when you got a KD whose jump shots like butter, shipping butter since he left fucking college.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
But I mean, again, they were up 3-1, and it was a complete meltdown. And for me, you gotta question the guy that was texting the enemy trying to get over there. Gotta question the enemy. I mean, you gotta question the guy that was talking to the enemy. But going to the East though, your Magic is still battling. Brother Sean, thank you for supporting. He's talking about his Brooklyn Nets. Harden going to come back for the playoffs. What do you think the Nets are going to do? What are they looking like to you?
I want to see them at full power. Like we haven't seen them with all three of them healthy. You know what I'm saying? We've seen Harden leading it. You know, when KD was out, we've seen KD and Kyrie together, but we haven't had a chance to see all three of them healthy. You know,
Not more than
click,
7 games.
yeah, clicking on all cylinders. If we see that in the playoffs, they're gonna be a tough out, man. Like I get Milwaukee's good. I get the Celtics are good, you know, but when you're talking about in a 7 game, when you got superstars, three superstars, you know, with a Blake Griffin, who's now coming on. I think Blake scored 20 tonight. DeAndre Jordan back with Blake together. You know what I'm saying? That's a tough out, man. That's a tough out. And I tell you, the East is lucky that Spencer Dinwiddie is not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Add him to the mix, and that Brooklyn team is something that nobody wants to see. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Philly. I mean, Philly's something to talk about, man. Embiid is. I got to give it to him. I had a lot of criticism for Embiid, but he's balling, man. I mean, he is balling. If you can get a little bit more out of Ben Simmons, I don't know what Harris has been doing lately, but you got Seth Curry coming off the bench. I think he should get more minutes, but Doc's lineups always. I think that's always been a problem for me. Always been a problem for me. And I always said it, even when they used to play in the West and Austin would come in there, do well against Steph Curry, and he'd take him out. I never understood Doc Rivers' method to his madness with that. But the East is back, man. It's pretty competitive. That's one thing that's pretty good to see, to say that the East could be a little competitive. So
Yeah. Philly, if Ben Simmons could be consistent, it'd be great. He was so good at the beginning of the year. His defense is good, very, very good. He's a great defensive player, you know, but he's been falling off lately. On the other stuff, he's still playing defense, but the boards, the assists that he had earlier in the year, not there. Seth Curry is a guy that's making them, you know, they're getting so much out of him.
mhm.
Um, Great addition for them. He's doing work, he's getting it done. And then obviously you have Embiid, who if he could just mature and just, you know, if he had the attitude and the poise of like a Jokic, like it's untouchable. Like he would be completely untouchable. The problem is, you know, his attitude doesn't always seem to be the greatest. You know, he doesn't deal well with losing, similar to LeBron.
Worried about fouls. I think if he was to get that Shaq mentality, because I think if he had the Shaq mentality because I think he wants to dominate every game, every time, right? But it's more offensive finesse. I'm gonna get it how I want it. But if he was to stick to one thing, not stick to one thing, but if he was to really try to punish his opponents and just had that attitude that Shaq had, I don't care how many times I get hacked, I'm gonna still do it.
Yeah, you don't need to stretch the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like you're a problem. There's no need for you to stretch the floor. Cats like Porzingis in Dallas, they got to stretch the floor. They got to open it up for Doncic and shit like that. Like he don't need to stretch the floor. He should be making it happen from 15 or in.
Yeah, yeah, definitely dominating. Kid is definitely good, man. You got to give him his props. Definitely got to give him his
Yeah,
props.
he is. He's gotten a lot better too. I look forward to seeing the playoffs this year. Is going to be interesting. That play-in is going to be interesting. And I think we could see an upset, a few upsets. We could see
Absolutely.
easily some upsets. So, can't wait to see that.
May
And then
18th.
May 18th it starts, and then you know, shortly after that, we'll start to see people, reporting for camp, right? Um,
The NFL.
and NFL.
Let's talk.
And
Let's talk the draft first, because we've had rookie mini camps this week, but let's talk the draft first, man.
how'd you feel
Recapping
about
the
your
draft
draft?
with the Jets.
Yeah.
Man, I think Joe Douglas did a phenomenal job, not only in the draft but the undrafted free agents. This is the first time since 1983 the Jets took 4 offensive players to start. Zach Wilson was obviously going to be our pick. I'm happy with Zach Wilson. Then we traded up to get Vera Tucker from USC, which was the best, one of the best offensive linemen on there. So he's an offensive lineman. I've always said you got to win through the trenches and then build back. So we got Becton, we got Vera Tucker, we got some other guys, and we bring him back. Then we went and got Elijah Moore, who I watch a lot of SEC football, probably more than the most other people. That kid versus Alabama versus the Sertains versus Florida versus all of the SEC D backs this year, he was uncoverable. He was simply uncoverable. So I love that pick. Who else did we get? Then we got Michael Carter from North Carolina, who's a beast at running back. And then we got some guys at corner and basically some other guys are gonna play linebacker that's gonna show up our defense. But our undrafted free agents, man, we got Kenny Yeboah from Ole Miss, who I think a lot of teams slept on. I don't even know how they did this. This kid was killing Alabama, LSU, Florida. I mean, he was a 5th-year transfer and he was killing it. And we picked him up off the street. So I'm pretty happy, man. This is the first time in a long time I'm actually solid with a New York Jets draft. How about them Cowboys?
I mean, we made some moves, right? We ended up trading back because I think the idea was to get
Certain.
corner certain cornerback first round. And when he was taken, I think they just saw an opportunity to trade back, and they knew they'd still be able, based on who was after them, to go with Micah Parsons, which
Which is a
I
hell of a pick.
I thought that was a great pick. I think he's the best linebacker that was in the draft. A lot of people do. And obviously we have Jalen Smith, we have Leighton Vander Esch, but Vander Esch better
No,
stay healthy.
no, I thought y'all let him go.
Vander Esch?
I think y'all let him go. I think
That
y'all
must
let
have
him go.
happened. Must
I'm
have happened
almost certain
before
y'all
the
let him
season.
go because of his injuries, man. He's banged up. I think y'all let him go.
No, he's
But
still on the team.
you sure about that?
Oh, wait a minute.
Y'all let him go.
Last week.
Y'all let him go.
Oh yeah, they declined his option. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Can't stay healthy.
He's
Can't
been
stay
banged up,
healthy.
man. But y'all got Kelvin Joseph, cornerback from Kentucky. You
Second
know,
round, yeah. I like
yeah. I
that.
mean, that kid, very fluid, very athletic. He's played against some of the best receivers in the country. I don't know anything about the kid from UCLA. Y'all got Golston from Iowa is pretty good. Y'all got Jabril Cox from LSU.
That was a fourth round,
Wow.
yeah? Fourth round?
4th round pick.
Yeah.
Wow. He's one of my favorite linebackers in the draft. I'm not going to lie to you. I wanted the Jets to pick him up. I thought he was a 2nd-round guy, him and Chaz Surratt. I think y'all, when you look at that, when you got Parsons, who's a guy he's gonna be able to blitz, he's gonna be able to play sideline to sideline, and then you got Jabril Cox. He's a guy like that's on New Orleans, Demario Davis. He's like a Demario Davis. Jets
Mm.
drafted Demario Davis in the 3rd round. I used to tell people all the time he needs to start. He needs to get more minutes. And then Mike McCagnon got rid of him, and then this guy becomes a Pro Bowler. Jabril Cox and Michael Parsons are going to anchor the Cowboys defense. Mark my words. 2 all pros. Guaranteed.
Yeah,
Guaranteed.
yeah. We need a secondary help. We got a little bit, and then we also got a wide receiver, 5th round Simi, which
From Stanford.
yeah, he ran a 4.43 40. I like him because Gallup may not be there after this year. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if especially if he has a good year. If he has a good year this year with Dak and Amari and CD, if everyone's healthy and he has a good year, people are gonna come knocking, and we're not gonna be able to afford him. So, um, I like it. I like letting this kid sit there. You run him out there in the 5 wides, maybe, you know, and just let him sit behind Amari, let him sit behind CD, and if Gallup leaves, you're good to go. You got the next man up. So
Yeah. And Dak is healthy right now. I mean, that he's saying he's, super healthy right now, which I think is, very important. But I am very impressed. I didn't even know that, because I knew Jabril Cox came off the board, but I wasn't paying attention who he went to. But the fact that you guys got Micah Parsons and Jabril Cox, I think that was phenomenal. And you also got some free agents out there that, you guys can shore up some picks if you want to, and fill some holes. So, while y'all division got more offensive, I think y'all stepped up and filled some major gaps. I think the only other defense that looks as strong or better, obviously, which is Washington, because their defense and their front four has been crazy. So I think that was monumental for y'all.
yeah, we need we need a defense, but we're gonna have to start backfilling offensive line soon too. Again, you know, we saw Zeke had a down year. Obviously, people blame it on the quarterback play and you not having to drop additional linebackers and stuff back into coverage and be able to stack the box. But he's gonna have to, if Dak can stay healthy this year, we need to see the Zeke that we saw 2 years ago, you
Yeah.
know, or 3 years ago. Now, there's been a lot out there, a lot of people saying that he's been working out different. This is the hardest he's worked in an off season in years. So we'll see. Maybe he needed that criticism. Um, but off of them, just kind of thinking, you watch a lot more college than I do. I don't watch college really. Was there any surprises in the draft that you can recall? Was it surprising you that New England was able to get a quarterback, one of the top 4 quarterbacks in the 15th pick without having to trade up?
Yeah. I mean, I think Mac Jones is official. I mean, efficient. Alabama quarterbacks. He reminds me of Greg McElroy. I don't know that he's gonna be what they want him to be. It also always depends on the system. They have Cam there. I really don't know, because I don't know how long Bill Belichick's dynasty is gonna last. Because we also got to be honest, Bill Belichick is an older guy. Without him and just how he's done things, New England can go back to the basement. Like, people forget the Patriots were in the basement of the league at some point until the Bledsoe eras and Bledsoe era and then Tom Brady era. So I don't know what that's really gonna look like. I do like the pick that the Lions made, taking Sewell. It kind of showed that they're not really giving up. They believe in Goff. They're gonna put some things around them. It'll be interesting, because the NFC North right now, as it is going into the season, we don't know what's gonna happen with Aaron Rodgers. And
Mm.
if I'm the Green Bay Packers, I don't understand why they continue to disrespect this man. He's one of the only quarterbacks that has the least amount of touchdowns to a first round wide receiver pick. And granted, wide receiver is one of the hardest things in the first round to hit on, but there are so many other teams that have nailed it, and y'all haven't even tried. And once again, this year, you go in and you draft a corner. instead of getting him a wide receiver. And last year you took his replacement. So it's kind of like I think the NFC North rather is gonna be pretty open. And I like what Detroit did to say, you know what, we're gonna go get us a tackle that's gonna provide some protection to a guy that has a change of scenery, change of attitude, and maybe could get it done. You know, they went and took Eric Stokes at cornerback. Eric Stokes, phenomenal corner from Georgia, 6 foot plus kid, 4.3 speed, phenomenal. But what is that? I mean, and I know Green Bay's secondary needed help, but I mean, how does that help Aaron Rodgers? How does that help Aaron Rodgers? And I don't know if it's because the Giants took Kadarius Tony, because I thought Kadarius Tony from Florida was going to fall to the Packers, and I'm thinking maybe that's why. And then Bateman went to the Ravens, so wide receiver wise. But then again, you had Elijah Moore there from Ole Miss, who we took in the second round. Elijah Moore, he's only 5'9". He might not be what you might have wanted at wide receiver physically, stature wise, but he's one of the best receivers still there. They don't take him. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Aaron Rodgers is being a diva. You know,
Really?
he has a Devontae Adams, um, and he has some people that I feel like the team is confident in. You just got to catch the ball. You know that's the biggest piece is catching the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, you talk about Aaron Rodgers. They signed Aaron Jones, right? They re-signed Aaron Jones, brought him
Mm-hmm.
back. So he has an offensive weapon there. That's to stop him from having to throw the ball 30 times a game, you know, but he still throws the ball 30 times a game. Like, let your running back do something. Let your running back excuse me, let your running back live, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, they could load up the offense, but then they won't have any defense, you know? And so I get the moves that they made. I think again, I think Aaron Rodgers is just a guy who, to me, and I've always said it, he's selfish. He is an extremely selfish player, and he is more about individual stats than anything else. Sure, he wants to win. Everybody wants to win, but
Mm-hmm.
I think his want to win doesn't outweigh his need to be in the spotlight and be the star and be the hero. You know what I mean? He's the same guy who throws touchdowns from the 1 yard line on first down. You know what I mean? Like this is that guy. You know, and you have a Devontae Adams there. You have a Marquez Valdez Scantling, who I know they believe in. Alan Lazard. You know, Lazard came on late last season, you know, because he was injured. And he came back and did well at the end of the year. You know, Equanimeous St. Brown, same guy. He's 6 something, good receiver, if I'm not mistaken. And then on top of that, you think about when they brought it, people are like, oh, they never help him out. They brought in Jimmy Graham and he didn't use Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, and I think B. Graham was kind of washed at that point, but you got to go back to last year. Okay,
Six
take
five,
taking Jordan Love in the first round. That was unnecessary. While I think the kid is good, and I think he'll be somebody, you basically getting his replacement in the first round, which I don't think was necessary at that moment. I think they could have gotten a good quarterback later that would have been somebody that's going to sit and be just as good, and you could have got something first round. But we don't know because Brett Favre in Green Bay had a nasty little breakup, but Brett Favre was selfish too. To your point, so to your
when you
point,
think of when you think about them taking Jordan Love, it's easy, right? Hindsight is always 2020, right?
mm-hmm,
And when you talk about them taking Jordan Love, they took Jordan Love coming off of a year where They went 13-3
Yeah.
in 2019, but Aaron
Hmm.
Rodgers had a down year that year. He wasn't the Aaron Rodgers that we saw in 2020. You know, um, in 2019, he threw for 4,000 yards.
That's not a
He
down year, brother.
40. Well, listen, he threw for 4,000 yards on 569 attempts versus the year
Sheesh.
prior, he threw
Jesus
for
Christ.
4,400. 62% completion percentage, 26 touchdowns in 2019, 4 interceptions,
That's pretty damn good.
QB rating of 95.4.
It's
So
pretty
that's
damn good.
good. That's good for everybody else, right? Except for maybe a Tom Brady, Drew Brees, right? Those top guys, or Mahomes. But for Aaron Rodgers, when you're
But
talking about he's been in the
okay.
league at that point 14 years, right?
Yeah.
And while it was a good year,
It
it
was a
was a
great year. It was
it
a
was a
great
great
year.
year, but it was a
To your
decline
point
from
though,
his previous year.
it would have made more sense. It would have made more sense for them to get another top guy, because look at your Cowboys. You got CD, you got Amari. You got two cornerstone kids that at least for the next 3 years are gonna dominate the wide receiving corps. If I'm Green Bay last year, I'm putting someone else to give Devontae some help. Scaling is sometimey. Tomlin, all of them other people, sometimey. These are not people that people scheme against,
Oh
right?
yeah.
So I'm getting a wide receiver. If not, at the very least, last year's draft, I would have traded back 2 slots, taking a corner to the point of needing defense, taking a corner, then getting a wide receiver later in that round, then later in the second round. They kind of squandered this shit, because it's kind of like you had a first round pick. If you were gonna just go arbitrarily with a quarterback, Jordan Love, first of all, you reached for him. Okay, nobody in the 32 teams last year was gonna take Jordan Love. Granted, he's a very good physical talent. Nobody was gonna take him. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So it kind of I kind of see that point. I also see the point where you're saying kind of relax and let things cook. But I mean, he is 30 something, 38, 37, 38, something like that. He's kind of looking like the clock is like, nah, you're not really making moves that really make sense for me. I don't know.
I
Where
think he no, I think what happened personally, right? I think he sees Tom Brady went to a team full of offensive talent, right? And now you're adding arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, top 2, 3 in most people's lists, right?
Mhm.
You know, when you're adding a Tom Brady to something like that, and I think he's thinking, shit, I only got one ring. I have to contest with that, right? I have to contest with a Pat Mahomes with the offensive monster of a team that he has, right? In the NFC, I have to contest with a Russell Wilson, which we don't know just how good or great he's going to be. They got their asses beat by Tom Brady in Tampa. You know what I mean? So he's thinking, I just threw 48 touchdowns this season and went 13-3, and it wasn't enough to get another ring for us, right? For the team. And I just think he's like, well, maybe squeaky wheel gets the oil. If I can make these guys trade me, they're gonna try and trade me to somebody that has something to give back to them, and teams that you think of, and a lot of people have talked about that want to win now, that are ready and built to win now, a Cleveland Browns. If I'm the Browns, the defense they got, the draft they had, nigga, nigga.
but
Y'all, y'all can
what's the
have
difference?
Baker, y'all can have Kareem Hunt. I'm giving y'all everything
What's
you want. You send me
great
in.
great point? And if they go that's insane. But if all the people you talked about, Brady, Wilson, You said Brady, Wilson. Who else?
Mahomes.
Mahomes. What have those teams done differently than the Packers do? Brady goes down there, even despite Arians coming out saying, I don't want Antonio Brown. Tom is like, no, I had him. Let me have him again. Bruce Arians, as stubborn as he is, says, you got it. Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that team is just ready made, right? Who else was it you talked about? Russell Wilson. They got DK Metcalf. They got weapons, right? Aaron Rodgers is the only guy of his stature, of his caliber that seemingly has not been able to get that reciprocity from his team. Even Ben Roethlisberger right now is holding the Steelers hostage.
From a receiver standpoint. But
I'm
Green
telling,
Bay,
yeah,
but Green Bay always makes sure that man has an offensive line, right?
yeah.
And in recent
No, they
years,
let they let they let it they let it they let his guard go last
Bulaga,
year. They let his guys go last year. They did. That was a cornerstone. That was a cornerstone. They let him go.
yeah, but at some point you let people go when you think you have something
But
better,
I
when you
mean,
have
if the kid, if
younger
the
guys.
kid, the kid is young. I mean, you pay. It wasn't a super competitive contract that he. I mean, some things you got to do, and then it's like, okay, even if we have nothing, right? You at least get me my interior guy. Then again, like I said, you went and took Jordan Love. Jordan Love, while I love watching Jordan Love in college. He's not a first round pick. And you
Right.
got Aaron Rodgers.
But Aaron Rodgers is a dick. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is walking in that office saying, "Hey guys, restructure. Let's restructure. Let's bring some guys in. I know, in the draft, let's say last year, I know you guys didn't bring anybody in the draft. Let's restructure. I want you to spend some of this money on a wide receiver." That's not an Aaron Rodgers. Even after this year winning, you think he went in there and was like, "Hey, draft's coming. You know, I'd appreciate," or "Hey, I think we can get to the next level if we went wide receiver." I
But
doubt it, right?
but he didn't
I
he
think
didn't have
he's
to restructure to do that.
no, maybe not to restructure, but
No.
I don't think he's having that conversation. Aaron Rodgers is the guy that will sit back, play it out, let it play out because he's so fucking cocky,
Mhm.
and then bitch about it in the back end, which is what I think we're seeing now, right? Same guy who the first year that they had that I forget his coach's name, the young guy,
Mhm. The
he
floor.
hated him. The
Yeah.
floor, he hated him. And then this past year, when he let him do his thing, 48 fucking 100 yards, 48 touchdowns, 84% passer rating. Now he fucking loves him.
But some of that though, you have to understand the dynamics. And Tom Brady, I think the only difference between him and Tom Brady is that Tom Brady is politically savvy enough to know how to move. We didn't hear a lot of Tom's bitching and complaining, but he forced his way out of New England. He went to a culture in Tampa that he felt better in. He was able to have carte blanche, and guess what? He delivered. I think if I'm Aaron Rodgers and if I'm Green Bay, I don't draft Jordan Love. That right there was a nail in the coffin. You don't draft Jordan Love.
from a
You don't.
team standpoint, right?
Mhm.
Going into it, I think it's a bad decision.
Drafting Jordan Love?
Jordan Love, yes. But do you
Absolutely.
think, right? If I'm Aaron Rodgers, right? Let's think of it like this. If I'm
Mhm.
Aaron Rodgers, I also have to recall that I sat 3 fucking years before I got into a game. And I got into a game on a Thursday night game where Brett Favre couldn't play. The first game he started was against the Dallas Cowboys on a Thursday night game 3 years into his career, right?
Yeah.
You have to remember this as a guy and be like, just because they drafted this guy, even though it was first round, granted, doesn't necessarily mean that they're telling me I'm the fuck out of here, right?
But yeah. But
And then as a
Aaron
team,
looked way better than Jordan Love.
but as a team, right? Did do they now feel like we drafted Jordan Love and this motherfucker came back as Superman? We motivated him.
Yeah, but you know what? The key difference is Brett Favre was at the end of his rope. Number one, he then went to New York where he had a 10 game decency, but he was done. Aaron Rodgers is nowhere near in the physical damage in length that Brett Favre. Brett Favre was like almost 40 at that time. Like when they got Aaron Rodgers, no, it was similarly, I think, probably right on 38-ish. But Brett Favre had a litany of injuries. Aaron Rodgers isn't that bad, but again, when you look at Aaron Rodgers and what he was graded on as a first round pick, he was a first round pick. I don't know that Jordan Love was a first round pick. I don't know that. And then if you're talking about we're winning 13 games without that, I don't think I go there. But I get exactly what you're saying, and I think if I'm him, and then you come back this year and you get a corner. Granted, Eric Stokes, I think is going to be a Pro Bowl corner. I don't know how he's going to adjust playing in Green Bay versus his ass being in Athens, Georgia, with that weather most of the time. But he's a physical specimen that I think is going to be great. I just don't know what message they're sending. But I do want to highlight one pick. Kellen Mond out of Texas A&M went to the Vikings. I think Kellen Mond, and I've said this before, I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in this draft that people are not paying attention to. I think he's the next Dak Prescott. I think if Cousins goes down and that kid gets some time, he's gonna be the next Dak Prescott. Senior Bowl MVP. I mean, he's beaten Florida. He gave Alabama fits. That kid is good. And I don't like how he got overshadowed. I think he's better than Fields. I know he's better than Trask, who went second round. I think that kid's gonna be good. So Kellen Mond, that's my bold prediction as far as the draft goes.
I like the Trask pick by Tampa
Tampa.
Bay.
Yeah.
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 I like that pick. It's a hometown pick. You know, he
Tickets.
play right up the road, right?
Yep.
And that's what people expected from a Tim Tebow, which
Mm-hmm.
didn't happen, right? The
Mm-hmm.
Jaguars passed on him.
Mm-hmm.
They did it with a Blake Bortles. They filled the seats. Jaguars
Mm-hmm.
were able to fill the seats.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was a good pick for them. Trask, he was good in college.
He
He's
was
gonna sit
okay.
behind. He's gonna sit behind the greatest quarterback of all time in many
That
people's
that's the
eyes.
difference. That's the difference.
You know, he's gonna learn from this guy, and then if for whatever reason he gets a shot 9-10 games in, maybe Tom does get hurt for some reason, he comes in with
Super weapons.
right weapons upon weapons, right? Same thing like you said with Mon going to the
Minnesota.
Vikings.
Yeah.
They got weapons
Yeah.
with you know Jefferson and what's the white boy's name that you guys
Adam Thielen. My
Thielen.
man.
hmm So these young guys are gonna have some weapons to play with, but neither here nor there. I'm interested. I am excited to see what this year brings for us. Do you think what does Jacksonville end with this year? What's their
Yeah.
record?
I honestly think Jacksonville is gonna go 4 games winning maximum.
Only 4?
Only 4, no more than 4. I think Trevor Lawrence. Well, early on, I always said I didn't really know a lot about him. I got to see more of him as the playoffs transpired. I don't think he is what they believe he is. I think he has the talent. I think he's good, but I don't think he is what they think he is. And then they got ETN, who I think is a great running back, but running backs come a dime a dozen. I don't really see Jacksonville doing anything. You guys got the first round pick. the first pick overall because you were terrible. You weren't in games. I just don't think I don't have a lot of faith in Jacksonville at all as a program. And Urban Meyer, I think coming from college to actually coming from the booth to the league, I don't see much happening for them. And I could be called a hater, but I'm okay with that.
They got Etienne as well.
I wasn't that impressed with ATN. And they routed Ohio State, but Ohio State. No, I'm sorry, Ohio State routed them, but I think Clemson's defense was the worst it's been in so long, and I wasn't impressed by anything I saw from them. When Alabama was on the field with these guys, they had nothing. When I'm sorry, when Ohio State was on the field with these guys, they had nothing. So I'm not that sold on him. He's not somebody that I think has been mentally tested. I think that's one of the things that I liked about Zach Wilson was that he goes out there and he plays and he forgets the last play. That's one thing for a quarterback that is super important. I don't think Trevor Lawrence has it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought, obviously that if we as a Jets had the number one pick, you go with him. But I wasn't sold. I wasn't sold. I was very unsure. I had limited time. Like there was nothing about him. He would be playing. There was nothing about him that made me want to watch that game because Clemson has so many athletes from Rodgers to other guys. He didn't really have a lot of adversity that I saw.
And they were good
So
when he was hurt.
yeah, and they still were competitive when he was hurt. To your point, excellent point. When they played Notre Dame and he wasn't there, they
Mm-hmm.
still were good. So it wasn't a situation where if he wasn't there, they couldn't go. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this class shakes out, far as the quarterbacks go. It's going to be very interesting.
I am on record saying that I think Trey Lance has the best career out of the quarterbacks in this draft.
I hope you're wrong,
Of course you
but
do. Of course
yeah,
you
I
do.
gotta hope you're wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not
But
mad at it though. The kid is nice.
I love Trey Lance, and I think the 1 year or the 8 games that he's gonna sit behind Jimmy G, in San Fran, 8 to 10 games, is gonna do good for him. But I think he's gonna have the best career out of this bunch. Of course, obviously, I still think Wilson's gonna have a good career. I still think Lawrence is gonna have a pretty good career, but and even Justin Fields, right? But
I can't trust Ohio State quarterbacks,
I don't trust the Bears.
and I can't trust Ohio State quarterbacks. They've had other guys come out that were better on paper than Fields that have done bad. And I mean, when he had adversity versus Northwestern or Indiana, he looked terrible. I like Trey Lance. I think physically, and I think he's just a winner. And the fact that he's been doubted his whole career, like he's a Minnesota kid, and University of Minnesota had the audacity to not want him to play quarterback. I think that was disrespectful. So I think that motivates him. I think Zach Wilson has the moxie and the talent. I don't know that he's gonna do something extremely good with us as an individual. I think they're gonna build a good team around him, which I prefer regardless. I really think Kellen Mond and Trey Lance are gonna stand out in this class, and maybe a Trask later. But it's the league. The good thing about the NFL, it resets itself faster than the NBA. You ain't gonna have guys in there 20 plus years doing the same thing. You're gonna have people leaving in and out because that's just the name of this game, you know.
Yeah,
So
I look forward to seeing what this year is gonna look like for
hmm
sure in the league, no doubt. Um, what else is going on?
versus
Uh, versus SWV versus Tiny
escape.
and The
Tiny and what's her name?
and the date
Candy.
rapers.
Candy is
Candy Burris. That's
yes,
her last name.
I think so.
Yeah.
She's still she's, but you know, I look at her, she just looks like she's toxic.
Mm, I
She
mean,
looks crazy and toxic, but I am ready for all that toxicity. That's not why. She just looks crazy though. She was sitting there. When I tuned in, and she was sitting there on the couch, and she was listening to them when they played the song with Michael. SWV played the song Michael right here. She
oh
just was
yeah,
like,
the
she was
remix.
real stoic with it. She's real stoic with it. Like she was almost hating. Like, how do you not get excited for that joint?
Yeah, I mean that's Candy though, right? I
That's why
mean,
I think she toxic.
so I didn't really get to watch much of it. When I did tune in, they weren't singing. They were lip syncing, and it's classic R&B, classic '90s R&B. Good to hear, but um, and I love SWV.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the skate back in the day, but I don't like how I don't like how Tiny progressed in her life. Um,
Damn.
you know,
Really?
yes,
You gonna judge
she's
her?
she's a piece of shit.
Why?
She is.
Why? You don't
Mhm.
know her. You don't know her.
Listen, man, listen. You heard the allegations against them.
I don't until they are founded, true. They could have just been on some freak shit.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
I didn't like her on their reality show either. I didn't like her.
why you didn't like her on a reality show?
I just didn't like her personality, her attitude. Personal things.
Felt like
You
she was
know.
nagging.
I felt like she didn't understand like what she had. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like she had a star. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
and not saying that she had to be, barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. Like, that's not the insinuation. But like, you got Ti, he's a breadwinner, and he's a personality, and she just was always bitching and complaining, and she just wasn't. She's just not. I don't like her.
She turned you off.
Yeah, I don't like her. I
Safe
don't
to
like her.
say she turned you off.
I don't
Yeah,
like her.
I
And
can
she
see that. I can see that.
and she looked like a Fraggle Rock in the face. She's just not the.
Come on.
She
Come on.
she don't hold
I
up.
listen.
See, why do you do this?
I'm not gonna get to that. But I mean SWV definitely to me was Sisters with Voices was definitely the better group to me. What I found interesting when I talked to women older, now older, our age, versus back then, and I said, now that you've been through some situations and you've had some side chick problems, how did you feel about the SWV songs now that you know what they really mean in actuality? And you know what? They had nothing for them, which further concludes to my point that if you sing R&B, you can get away with anything. You can literally get away with anything. If SWV was some rappers and they were talking about stealing other chicks' mans, they'd have been canceled a long time ago. Long time ago.
Well, yeah. So who are you comparing them to now?
Oh, the side chicks or SWV?
The one singing about it.
Nah, I mean there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing you can do on that. There's nobody comparing to that. But I'm more so. I need to see if we're gonna do women, we're gonna do R&B. They gotta find a way to get Toni Braxton. They gotta find a way to get Mary J. Blige. I can't see Toni Braxton's catalog. Her first album alone were smashes. Then she had joints from many of the various albums, soundtracks. I didn't want to see it before. I wanted to see Mary versus Mariah, but I think Mariah is more her music stylistically is different, even though it'll be some smashes, right? But when we talking about up tempo, just all around, just ballads and different things, I think I want to see Toni Braxton versus Mary J. Blige. I think there's one that has to get done. Okay, this is what we get. Who or what is that?
Fraggle Rock.
Who is Fraggle Rock? Like the girl that?
Tiny. It's
Okay,
Tiny.
that's Tiny. A picture of Tiny right there.
Hmm.
Okay, well, it doesn't hit for me, but I didn't really watch that. But
So you want to see Mary J and Mariah.
I want to see. I wanted to see Mary J and Mariah, but I think I want to see Mary J and Toni Braxton.
I want to see. I don't think Tony got it from Mary.
Are you?
Mm. Tony got listen. Tony got hits. Tony got hits. Tony is
Are you
Tony.
serious?
The way I see Tony
Are you
is
serious?
yeah, yeah. She got hits. She got hits. She got tons and tons of hits. She's great. Um, but Mariah, I'm sorry, not Mariah. Mary to me is babyface in that battle.
Mary's gonna beat either one of them. That's not the question. But when I thought about it a little more, it's like the style of music. Mariah Carey, other than the ODB joint, how many joints? Because it's not about what you love to hear and what's kin to your heart. It's about on a versus platform, what's gonna make you sip your drink and bop.
Yeah, but I mean, Mariah got hits.
She don't have no bop joints though.
She got plenty of bomb joints.
Okay,
She had a whole run where she was running with Bad Boy and
give it
Mace
to
and
me.
them.
Give it to me. You
Be with
you
Be with
you.
You, Be Without You, whatever that song is.
No, no,
She
no.
had
That's Mary.
no.
The "Be With You" song is Mariah Carey.
I was just listening to it in the car.
Oh, you terrible.
Hold on, I got you.
Okay, all right,
Let me just hit play. Wait, no, I'm not gonna hit play.
okay.
Um, Mariah Carey.
Mm-hmm.
She had it was a remix.
Mm-hmm. She has a lot of slow songs, bro.
She has slow songs. She did a whole run with fucking with Jermaine Dupri and with ODB with Fantasy and
Fantasies one.
hmm then she had the track with Mace and Bad
Honey is
Boy.
two. Honey, that's the remix. Two. My
hmm
honey, that's two. I don't know.
How
I don't know another one that has.
oh Always Be My Baby. That's the one I was thinking of. Always Be My Baby. She did a remix on that one.
I only got three up tempo songs for her.
Always Be My Baby. She had the remix with on that one. Um, I mean Heartbreaker with Jay Z.
I think I already said that.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
But I mean, but the thing about it is, you know, Mary, while she has upbeat stuff, she also has slow stuff. So
I know.
when you're throwing together some of Mary J stuff, like some of Mary J's best stuff is slow. Her early stuff, her early career stuff, with meth and what's the 411 on that album, and that stuff was upbeat and stuff. But later in her career and further on as you got into her career, her best stuff that was known and turned out to be hits, radio hits, video hits, and stuff like that was slower. Not like super duper slow songs, but slow enough where it would match up against. It definitely could match up against a Mariah Carey for
All I'm
sure.
saying is with Toni Braxton, right? She got Unbreak My Heart, smash. He wasn't man enough for me is a up tempo smash. Just be a man about it, smash. Breathe again, smash. You're making me high, smash. Long as I live, smash. Another sad song, love song. You mean the world to me, smash. Love should have brought you home, smash. 7 whole days, I love me some him. How could an angel break my heart? How many ways? She's got some joints that I think, even though I know she would lose to Mary, which I think Mariah would too, I think she would make a better matchup.
She loses to Mariah. Toni
E-
Braxton
I,
loses to
I
Mariah.
I could see that. I could see that being closer than it would. I think Mary blows both of them out the water, but I don't think I can't say blows both of them out the water, but I don't think either one of them are beating her. Mary's just
Toni
Mary's that
Braxton.
great.
Toni Braxton don't want to smoke with either one of them.
Yeah, I think Tony could handle them.
No. Toni Braxton. I'm trying to think of somebody that she's better
I
suited.
think Tony can handle both of them. She's gonna give them both a run. I
Oh
think
yeah,
you're sleeping on her.
she can handle them, but
But
she's gonna
nobody,
be
neither one of them is beating Mary, so it don't matter.
so both of them, Mary and Mariah, they have 30, 40, 50 hits. Like 50 that they can choose 20 from you
I
and
don't
it
know that
doesn't
Mariah got that many,
stop,
bro.
stop,
I
stop.
don't. I know you love her because of visuals, but
No, Mariah Carey.
Mariah
Mariah Carey,
Carey's got Grammys and songs,
bro. Mariah
but
Carey's
verses
she,
isn't for the people that were there.
you're
It's
wild.
not for the people that was there.
Mariah Carey could play her first album
Yeah.
and get 8 to 10 off of that album alone.
But
When you
think
think
about what
about
I'm saying. Verses is not for the people that were there. Verses are for the people that wasn't there. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not for the people like you and I that were there. It's for the people that weren't there. And I,
I don't know about that.
I don't know that Mary's joints, Mariah's joints rather, have aged that well.
Mariah's joints haven't aged that well.
Other than her
Mariah has
Christmas joints.
Mariah has a Christmas album that gets played every
Other than
single
the
year.
Christmas joints, that's it.
Listen,
I don't know. I don't know. Who do you want to see quickly? We had an hour and 17. Who you want to see quickly? Other than I want to see Mary versus Mariah or Toni Braxton. Who do you want to see in versus?
I mean, besides the obvious,
Mm. What's obvious?
I want to see Jay and Nas. I want to
Okay.
see I want to see Jay and Drake.
I want to see Jay and Drake too.
I want to see Jay and Drake.
I want to see Jay and Drake too, so that these young 2010 people that love Drake can see how much better Jay-Z is.
I like Drake. I like Drake a lot. I think Drake is the best artist
Of his time.
in right now, 100%. Um, he loses points for not writing, yada yada yada. Everybody says that. That's fine. I'm fine with that.
I'm not.
But you still have to respect that he has to perform it. Whether someone else writes it, he has to perform it. He has to put it out. I would like to see that matchup. I would like to see. I'm not sure who, but I would love to see, and I think almost anyone gets smoked. But I want to see Khaled. I want to see DJ Khaled in a versus with whomever.
I'm not a fan of that because I mean, is he coming as
As
a
a as
producer
as a
or
producer, yes, yes. Of course, he wouldn't come as an artist. So I'm thinking more along the lines of like where you had the Timbo and Swiss type of thing. You had
Clue is gonna wash Khaled?
you're you're wilding.
DJ Clue?
You're wilding.
Okay.
Clue washing Khaled?
Okay. Okay.
Clue?
Okay.
Clue?
Okay.
Just give me five. Give me five. Off the top.
DJ
Off
DJ Clue?
Yeah, give me 5 Clue
Anything
joints.
Fabulous has done. Anything from 1998 to 2005. Like
What's Clue got that's gonna get with All I Do Is Win?
anything that he might have.
Just give me one.
Man,
Just one
please.
that's gonna smoke that.
Maybe that might have just Blaze.
Just Blaze would be a good one against
I don't
Khaled.
know.
I
I
think
just Blaze
he
already
gets
did
smoked
one.
too. But he gets
Uh,
smoked too.
yeah.
Listen, he's a tough out. Khaled is a tough
Versus DJ. Now I
against
gotta
anybody.
research. Now I gotta research. Now I gotta
You know what?
research.
You know what? Sounds like we got our verses. That sounds like we
Now,
got
now
our
I gotta.
verses.
Now I gotta. Heartbreaker. since you talked about that shit, Heartbreaker, Dope Man, Superwoman, Last Night at DJ, Rich Friday, nigga, what? Yeah, you're out of control. You was shitting on DJ Clue on the low.
That's it.
I mean, that's all I looked at right quick.
We taking over.
Remixes, You Remind Me,
We taking
Overnight
over.
Celebrity,
I'm so hood.
Mesmerize, We Belong
All I
Together.
all I do is win. I mean, come on.
One with
Come on.
okay, maybe Clue might not. All right.
I got one. I got one for you. Hold on. I got one for you. What
Tried
was
to
the
have a
joint?
Clue.
Yeah, you can't rhyme
I
with Clue.
tried. Maybe I hyped it a little bit. I mean, mixtape wise, we can't forget what he is, what he was.
Yeah, from a mixtape era,
Mm-hmm.
Clue is. But when you're talking about um
You talking
Khaled,
about Khaled and production?
I don't like I said. You got the joint. What was the one that he did
I
with
mean, if you talking about producers, let's be clear. Timbo and Swiss the only ones that went so far, right? And then Teddy, Babyface,
Yeah,
and
they went.
then Just Blaze the one with who? Timbo?
No,
Somebody else.
Just Blaze did. It wasn't official. It wasn't
It
official, but they
wasn't
did.
official verses. It was Just
Yeah,
Blaze and Swiss. Okay, so Pharrell's gonna wash fucking DJ Khaled easily. Easily. Say less. Say
yeah.
more.
He probably will. He probably will.
Probably he'll kill DJ Khaled.
I would like to see, but I wouldn't. I don't know if I. I mean, listen. When you're talking about 20, when you're talking about 20,
Pharrell is. Are you?
when you're talking about 20,
Are you Steven?
20,
Steven? Are you Steven? You talking about Pharrell Williams? Are you sick in the head right now?
you're
Are you
talking about
sick in the head right now?
limiting them to 20.
Are you sick in the head right now?
I
Are
don't
you
think he wants
sick?
it. He wins. He wins. But washing, I don't know about that.
He's washing DJ Khaled.
Nah.
You're sick in the head right now.
Mm-mm.
Let's go. Do it.
He has a
Pull up,
run.
pull up Khaled joints.
He
Pull
had
up
a
Khaled
run.
joints. Pull up Khaled joints. Pull them up. Pull them up. You're sick in the head right now. You're super sick in the head right now. And this gonna be our last 20 minutes. You're super sick in the head. They'll come up for you. You ain't gotta take that long. you are sick right now. And they ain't even giving me all the joints. You're bugging.
Khaled.
You're bugging.
Go ahead, give me one.
I'm just looking at all these joints.
20 joints we talking about. We taking over. Bugatti.
Oh,
I
hold
got the
up.
keys. No
Hold
new
up.
friends.
Nigga, that's not hitting on nothing. Pharrell got Happy is a
All I do is
banger.
win.
Happy's a banger.
Look, you know what I got for Happy?
Anything
You
the
know,
fucking Clips did. I don't know
yeah,
why they
but
giving me this bullshit.
clips don't
Noriega's
clips
joints.
clips probably got one track that makes it into Pharrell's 20.
Noriega's joints, fucking beautiful. Fucking And the Remy's in the system. Ain't no telling where. They not even giving me the joints. They're not even
Mhm.
giving me the joints that I'm looking for right now. They're not even
Wild
giving me the
thoughts.
joints.
Wild thoughts. What
They're
you
not
got for
even
wild
giving me the joints right now. Are you kidding me?
Rihanna? What you got for Rihanna?
All right. I'm not even getting the help that I need right now.
All right, let's do it.
I'm looking it up right now.
Let's do it.
Don't
Next week
worry.
we do it. Get your 20. Get your 20
Get
Pharrell.
lucky. Daft Punk, get lucky.
Get your 20 Pharrells.
Usher. I don't know
Get your
what the
20
fuck it is.
Pharrells. Next week we're gonna be on Instagram. I'm gonna bring my 20 Khaled joints
Bet.
and we're gonna do it.
Soup right here, SWV. Nori, nothing.
Wild thoughts. Rihanna. I'm
SWV.
the one
SWV.
beater.
Blue
All I do
Magic.
is win. Um,
Good kid. Slim
listen,
Thug like a boss.
like I said,
Mace looking
Pharrell,
at me. Oh
Pharrell,
my God.
Pharrell should win that. Don't get me wrong. I never said he wouldn't win,
You don't have to
but
call.
you said wash.
He's gonna watch.
You said
He's washing Khaled. It's cool. All right, no problem. He's
we
washing
gonna do
Khaled.
it. We gonna
Fine,
do it.
fine.
So I would like to see, honestly, for Pharrell though, I would rather see him against Kanye. I would like to
Nah,
see him.
Khaled. Nah, Khaled. Nah.
No, I'm
You
not
so
gonna
high
do
on
it.
Khaled.
I'm saying in verses. I am high
Nah,
on
you
Khaled.
so high on Khaled. Kanye is above both of them in some respective arguments. Khaled is third on that list. No question.
Mm, I don't know about that.
He is.
I don't know about that. Pharrell, I think Pharrell beats. I think Pharrell does beat both of them, but I don't think it's a wash like you're talking about. I don't
Okay.
think he's get. I don't think Khaled gets smoked. I don't think Kanye gets smoked either.
Kanye
Um,
definitely don't get smoked, but Khaled definitely gets smoked.
you wildin'. In
Eh,
20? In 20. We're
yeah.
not talking about full catalog. We're talking about full catalog. That's different.
Yeah.
When you're talking about 20
20.
joints,
Yeah, for sure. For
man,
sure.
listen, you wildin'.
We at hour and 27. We've been going long. We've been
You know Khaled got 20 tracks today that still play
you
in
know
rotation.
Pharrell got SWV right here. You know how
Okay.
old that joint is?
Okay.
All right,
When's the
you're
last
here.
time you when's the last time you heard right here in the club?
Nigga, all the time. You don't even go to the club. You
Stop.
don't go to the club. You don't go to anybody's
Stop.
club. You gotta cut it out. Stop it. Stop it. 90. You forget there's 90s nights, etc. You don't even go to the club, bro. You don't go to the club. When the last time
Stop.
you went to the club? The
I
90s?
mean, before COVID.
The 90s? You ain't go to the club before then either.
Before COVID.
You ain't go to the club. You couldn't even tell me where the club was in Orlando.
EJ, I was clubbing when you was
I
a
was clubbing.
child.
I was clubbing with you when I wasn't supposed to be there. That's years ago.
Listen,
We're talking about recently.
what
We're
I'm
talking
talking
about
right. So
married you.
recently, you can go to the club and you're gonna hear 20 Khaled tracks in that rotation.
You
You're
gonna
not
hear
gonna
a
hear
lot. You gonna hear a
you're
lot of
not gonna hear you're not gonna hear 20 Pharrells. You're
you
not.
bugging.
You might hear
You
beautiful.
definitely gonna hear the 20 Pharrell joints, the Gwen Stefani joints, the beautiful joints, the Snoop Dogg joints. You definitely gonna hear that. You're
It's not
bugging.
happening. It's not happening.
You're a hater.
You hear the J joint, you hear beautiful,
You hear Gwen Stefani.
you
You
hear
hear everything.
Stefani. That's
Yeah.
it. You're not
No.
hearing clips. You're not
You
hearing Nori.
you
I'm talking
you're
about in
definitely gonna hear the when the
regular
last time you
rotation.
heard it like you definitely gonna hear that. That's some DJ
No,
shit
no,
all
no,
the
no.
time.
No, I'm not talking about showing up to the club at 9 o'clock when it opens and they like, yo, let's throw this clips on. Let's get nostalgic on them at
Bro,
9
you
a.m.
only I guess you've been in Florida too long. We
I'm
don't
talking
hear a
about
lot of
I'm talking
you
about
don't
high rotation.
you don't hear a
Not
lot of DJ Khaled shit up north. You don't.
you don't hear a lot of DJ Khaled shit in Baltimore.
No, you don't hear it up north. You nigga, you ain't been
Stop.
in New York.
Stop.
You ain't been in a New York club in how
Stop.
long? When the last time you
About,
been in a New York club?
about 2 years, 3 years.
Get the fuck where? What's the name of it?
I don't fucking know.
Because you're full of shit.
2, 3 years.
You're full of shit. You're full
Two,
of
three
dog
years.
shit. You're full of dog shit. Cut it
Two,
out.
3 years.
Stop it. Stop
I
it.
mean, I could think back, but two,
Stop
three
it.
years.
Stop it.
Easily.
Stop it.
Easily.
Stop. It's okay. It's
You talking
fine.
about small Baltimore
It's fine.
where they probably playing Snoop in there. Not
No,
Snoop Dogg,
no,
Snoop from The Wire.
we're still northeast, brother.
Yeah,
You
they're
in the
north.
south.
They're
All
north.
you hearing is Khaled. We in the northeast, brother. We in the northeast. Cut it out. Stop it. Now you making no sense.
Go turn your radio on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You talking about Khaled now because he got an album out?
In
Oh,
general, in
convenient.
general,
Convenient.
it's consistent. It's
No.
consistency.
No. 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 No.
What's the last Pharrell joint that you heard in heavy rotation?
Bro, beautiful still gets knocked. Are you
Heavy,
kidding me?
heavy rotation. Not
Yes, that's on the DJ's joint. What's a college joint that keeps the party going?
all I do is win.
Nobody's playing that shit in the club
You're
to be
wilding.
keeping the party going. That's a shit
Okay,
that you walking out on.
okay. Rihanna, Wild Thoughts.
That's a banger for sure. For sure.
You hear that every night
That's a
in
banger.
the club every night.
That's a banger for sure. Give me another one.
Um, I woke up in Bugatti.
No.
Ace Hood.
Yeah,
Ace
yeah,
Hood.
yeah,
What?
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Trust me, it's out. They
That's a
out
good
there.
one. That's a good
We're
one.
gonna see. We're gonna see. We're gonna
That's
do
a good
20.
one.
We're gonna do 20. You're gonna be embarrassed. You're gonna be
Nah.
embarrassed.
Yeah.
You might win, but you're gonna come back to this and be like, all right, he didn't get washed because
Okay.
he's not getting washed.
Yeah.
He's not getting washed. All right. So have you heard Khaled's album while we're on the topic?
I heard the Jay-Z the Nas track. I wasn't happy. I feel like it's far too late. Uh, Jay's verse was nice. It was on point. It was on time. It was polished. Nas just sounded off to me. He
Yeah,
wasn't on. He wasn't on tempo. He just
that
it's too
wasn't
late.
the Nas. Yeah, that was not what I expected from a Jay and Nas collab. I would have liked more. The one thing I did hear on Khaled's album overall, including that track, and maybe that track was probably better than some of the others, was you could tell a lot of the verses were emailed. Like
Mm, no
emailed.
studio chemistry.
Yeah, right. Right. Especially like the Migos joint with her
Mm,
track track is fire. But you could hear where they ran the hook a little long
mm,
before the Migos verse popped in, or her chorus or her hook, and you could hear that. Um, I loved the opening track, Thankful. With it was he sampled the Jay-Z. Um, oh my god, I can't remember what the original is off the top of my head, but Jeremiah went on it. It was
mm,
Jeremiah and Little Wayne. Wayne came on.
mm,
He did all right. He did his thing. He did better than what I like to hear. Than I would have expected to hear, because Wayne gets crazy on those southern beats, and that wasn't really a southern beat, so I think that's what helped him. But Jeremiah smoked
mm.
it. Cardi's flow on the track that she did was bar none probably I loved the way she sounded on that. She didn't sound like the Cardi that we've heard over the last few years. That was just
Cardi will give you whatever you gonna want from her. That's
yeah.
the thing about Cardi. She's gonna give you whatever you want from her. If you want bars from her and she's expected to that, she's gonna give you something. It might not be hers. I don't know if she writes. I don't know how
She
that
said she
goes.
wrote it. She said she wrote it.
Yeah, I mean, So I think people sleep on her in the sense that she gives you what you want.
There's a track on there that had Big Sean, A Boogie, and Ross.
Hmm,
Uh and
that's different.
I
That's
like that
different.
track. Sean came on that one hard. Pause. I like that one. There's a Body in Motion track with Bryson Tiller, Roddy Rich, and Lil Baby. Lil Baby went on that.
Ooh, I need to hear that. I need to go listen to that then.
Bryson Tiller went.
I like
Justin Bieber.
Tiller.
Justin Bieber has a track with 21 Savage. I thought that one was pretty decent. I did not like the Post Malone Meg Thee Stallion joint.
That still
And
sounds like a banger though.
then yeah, some people like it a lot. I didn't like it.
That
It's
still
not.
sounds like a club banger. That sounds
Was it?
like a can't miss.
There's and then there was a Justin Timberlake I thought was pretty dope. That one he sampled All That I Got Is You, the Ghostface joint.
Mm.
And that one, it was pretty dope. I would have probably liked to hear that track, and I heard someone else say it, so it's gonna sound like I'm biting, but um Chris Brown,
Mm.
Chris Brown on that track, same vocals, same song would have been phenomenal, but I think Timberlake did pretty good on it. And I did not like the Meek Mill track. There's a Meek Mill, her, and Bryson Tiller. Great compilation, the three of them, but I didn't like that track. Another one that you could tell they mailed it in, and it just didn't.
Didn't
Chemistry didn't
stick.
sound. Yeah,
Khaled is very good at putting together different artists and getting the most out of them. So I'm gonna sit down and check it. I wasn't in a rush to do it because that Jay-Z and Nas track turned me off.
I've been living with that album for, well, since it came out. I ride to and from work each day. I've been just putting it on
Repeat.
shuffle,
Mhm.
and just whatever track comes up, just kind of just to hear. And I figured out which ones I really like. And when I first heard the album, I probably liked two, two or maybe three. I'm at a point now where I really like about six of the tracks on there, six or seven of the tracks on there.
You had to let it breathe.
Yeah, yeah. And then he had the two tracks. Of course, he had the two Drake joints, "Pop Star" and "Grease," and those we've heard before, but timely, timely. You had to have them. Summertime's coming. But overall, good album. Good album. Could have been better, I think, if they had been able to get people in the studio. But for the fact that we're not even getting good music like that right now, or albums for that matter, yeah,
Yeah, Khaled always gonna get the benefit of the doubt. He's always gonna get the benefit of the doubt. And I mean, shout out to him. He's paid his dues, from Terror Squad to now. So, he deserves every little bit of it that he gets. And I like that he puts in the dedication to get these people together because some of these combinations just of track listings like Post Malone and the Meg Thee Stallion, to me, I'm not the biggest Post Malone fan. I love Meg Thee Stallion, but just hearing that pair makes a lot of sense to me. So,
yeah. He builds relationships. He keeps them. He knows how to put them together. It was, you gotta listen to it. Give it a little time.
I'm gonna get into it. We had 137 out 37
hmm what else? Anything else going on? We don't have
quickly.
peace, so we don't have a lot of political stuff going on. But
No, no, quickly. Elon Musk revealed he has a disease.
oh, Asperger's.
Uh-huh. Bill
Asperger's.
Gates gets divorced. So
Mm,
two of the richest men in the world couldn't stay married. Beware.
yeah,
Huh?
Bill Gates. Bill Gates' wife is a G. That lady, or that woman. Um, she
Jesus Christ.
she needed some time away to clear her head, and she rented out an island, nigga. Not an Airbnb, not a mansion. She rented a
Yo,
whole
how the fuck do you rent
island.
a whole island away for
130
100K a night?
132,000 a night. Like,
How do you rent? Like that's some me time for your ass. If you're not gonna do it like Mrs. Former Mrs. Gates, your ass don't need no me time. If you're
right.
not gonna rent a whole island out by yourself, you don't need no me time, man.
And
Get your ass a fucking beer and get on the curb.
I'm sure she had an island. It was probably we time. She probably had all types of young dingling out there flying in. Like, no question. Listen, if I had money like that, if I had hundreds of billions of dollars, you know what I mean? And I was trying to get over separation, yes. Yes. Send about 30 of them. Matter of fact, send 24 of them because I'm going to need one for every hour in the day. Like, it's the way it goes. I might only use them for 5 minutes of that hour or seven minutes of the hour, but give me 24 of them because after that 53-minute nap, when the second hour starts, I don't want to see the same face. So,
Yo,
Send me a number.
132,000 a night for an entire island. That doesn't even socially make sense. If you go in there, like you had to have bring in some people there because to have an island by itself with just a staff, that don't even socially make sense.
He'd be like Gilligan.
You literally gonna be like Tom Hanks. You gonna have the staff, but it's like what are you doing?
I mean, you know, she was
That's
probably playing.
seclusion to the best.
She's probably playing the harp.
You gotta
You know,
relax. You talking about seclusion. I'm here just to get away. You spend 132,000. Listen, man, she could have paid me 20,000 and stayed here. Nobody know who this white woman was in
right?
Baltimore.
She paid 132,000 to masturbate in private, like a
She
night.
wow. She wow. She's wow. She should have went to Vegas.
I'm not mad at her, man. I'm not
Not
mad.
mad at her, man. Get your coins.
Yeah, they just different, man. They different.
That's
That's an
what happens when
Airbnb.
you're a billionaire.
That's an Airbnb for her. Plus, it's just a matter of time before her name is off the accounts, and she can't spend it. So she probably was like,
But I think she got some bread without
"Oh, she,
having it. Yeah.
she getting bread. She getting a good amount of bread." You know.
Yeah. What
Um,
what do we say to the Olympics and the Black Lives Matter?
I think Black Lives shouldn't show up.
Fuck them.
Fuck
I
'em.
think Team USA. Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. If I'm the Olympics, right, and
Mm,
I'm trying to clean this up, and maybe this is, and I hope this is what they thought. I hope they didn't mean, and by the headlines it doesn't look like, and by the stories I read, but I hope what they meant is you can still protest, you can still talk about, police brutality, but we don't support Black Lives Matter as a brand
mm-mm,
because of the negativity we've seen.
mm-mm.
Now, I'm pretty sure they said that teams or countries would be fined and held accountable if they protested in any way. And that's the part that bothers me. And that's why I say Black Lives should not show up.
No, the Olympics. We forget the Olympics are historically racist. The
And
the
so
Olympic circuit and all of that is historically racist. So they meant exactly what we think they mean.
so I say to you, right?
Hmm.
They said no Black Lives Matter.
Hmm.
Does that also mean no stop Asian hate?
They're not talking about that.
We didn't see that in the headline,
No.
right? And
Nope.
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm all aboard to stop Asian hate. So
Hmm.
I'm with everybody. I listen. I think everybody deserves to be treated equal. Whatever their background is. There's dickheads in every single race, every background, every culture. But I just feel like when we talk about black, just the word black, it puts people on guard. And I think people forget that. And we as a people, because we've been dealing with it so long, we are always there to support other people that are then
But
going through it. And I'm
I,
not saying we're wrong for it. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it.
I think
I'm
that's
just
where you're wrong to pull it out the bag. What the Olympics are doing to us is not, and while you might be saying it's not taking away from that, there's no need to say it. The thing is, they're shitting on us. Doesn't mean that the Asians have anything to do with anything that's going on with us.
no, 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 no. No, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. But people have to understand that and realize like when you're endorsing something, and we talked about this with Kaepernick, we talked about people still drinking Pepsi, still watching CBS, still watching ESPN, right? You're gonna watch the Olympics. Even let's say we don't show up. Let's say the USA basketball team. Let's say LeBron bands everyone together, and they just like we can't do it. Fuck them. We're not showing up, right? If you still support the Olympics and watch, right, then you have a problem. You know, and again, they probably don't go hand in hand. Stop Asian hate, Black Lives Matter, yada yada yada. But we're not seeing that. We're not hearing that. Let's say something happens in Italy between now and then. We're not going to see them say, nobody could say, justice for Italy. They're not going to say that. It's just Black Lives
But
Matter.
the difference is you can't marginalized people can't marginalize other marginalized people. That's
You're
where we
just
go
you're
wrong.
just forgiving, and that's what
No, it
we
no,
are. We
it's
are
not
we're
no,
forgiving people.
it's not forgiving. It just doesn't make sense because the powers that be don't give a shit about either one of us. What we need to do is instead of create more differences, we need to unify, and that's what they're afraid of. Because
Yeah,
there are Asian people. Let's just be clear. There are Asian people that do more than you and I for Black lives. Let's be
yeah.
real.
There's a few,
So
but there's a lot
we can't
of Asians
quantify
that
if
don't
we
like
not
Black.
out there. Listen. We
A lot.
you can't listen now you're speculating. This is anecdotal research. We don't know what it is, what it ain't, because we're not out there. You're not interacting with Asian people every day. One or two Asian people that you may interact with don't speak for everybody. Same way that black people talk crazy about any other culture. It does not represent everybody. And the problem is that people of ethnic cultures don't realize is that the more you create divides, the more you support the enemy. And the thing is, put it to the test. If I'm going to worry about Asian lives, then I'm gonna talk to these people and say, hey, let's stand in solidarity because at the end of the day, this country has been dominated by white Caucasian people that don't like non-whites. That's what it is. Now, if we go to the table and we don't get the solidarity, we don't have the unison, that's another conversation. But when we perpetuate these instances between each other because we could look back historically or because we knew a couple people in our neighborhood. Listen, we love Hispanic people. We have dealings with Hispanic people, but I can remember countless Hispanic people in my neighborhood or bodegas, etc., that didn't like black people, but it didn't represent all Hispanic people. You know
Where's
what I
the
mean?
Olympics being held?
This year,
Hmm.
what does that have to do with what I just said?
I'm just asking the question.
I don't know. I
It's
didn't.
being held in Tokyo.
Okay, and that's not in okay.
As a company, or I'm sorry, as a country in Japan, I would expect, right? And I'm not going to hold this. I'm not holding it against the whole Asian culture, but I would expect as a country, we're hosting this. You're not making that rule with what's going on in the world right now. Just
I get
as
it. I get
just
it.
as the United States, as racist as a country it is, and we know that if if the Olympics were moved here because Tokyo had an outbreak or something like that, the United States would not allow the Olympics to say you can't say stop Asian hate during blah 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 blah, right? And again, not blaming the culture. I'm just saying that the
We don't know
powers that
that. We
be,
don't know that. We don't know that
we do
because
know that.
we don't know that because USA allows as a competitive federation, they allow worse with the professional sports and other things like that. I get where you're coming from, and it's still early. We don't know where they at as a nation. We also don't have the athletes right now because I think the other problem is let's get down to it. We're talking about Black Lives shouldn't be there. We haven't had anybody from the USA team say, I'm not going to compete. We haven't had that yet. So if I'm Japan and y'all not saying nothing, Jamaica's not saying nothing, Kenya's not saying nothing, USA's not saying nothing, do we get out on the limb now? If y'all not saying nothing,
There's a problem there. There's
that's
a
a
problem
problem.
on both ends.
Yeah.
But it's again, we always talk about, while we know athletes are role models, we don't need to be looking to them to be the ones who fix racism, social injustice, and things like that. We've said that on multiple occasions. While it's good to see it when it happens, that's not what we should have to expect to get a rise out of people, right? Regardless of who they are and how powerful they are, they shouldn't have that much power as athletes. They
But
shouldn't.
this is a direct instance where it directly could affect them. So even if they're not trying to change the world, there's still, if any of them plan to do something, this still directly affects them. So while we're not saying it's up to athletes, and I've said that before, that while I don't knock the fact that athletes could do that, I don't think it's our sole responsibility. That's always been my thing with college athletes. Don't tell college athletes to go to HBCUs, but you don't tell your family to go to HBCUs. Totally different argument. If I'm an Olympic athlete and I wanted to protest and do my thing, this directly affects me. And
You know what I want? I just want the same outrage that people had for Rapinoe about homosexuality, gays.
you mean
He,
Rapino, Megan Rapino.
Rapinoe,
I'm like, who the hell are you talking about? Megan Rapino, got you.
yeah, on this
Hmm.
on when she went on her run, I
Hmm.
want that same outrage for black people with this Black Lives Matter shit. That's all I'm
But
saying.
but the only difference is there hasn't been an athlete that we know of just yet that has risen to say there's an issue. Now, also with Rapino, she's a white woman. Uh uh she's a lesbian woman. So there are differences here. Black people, to your point, are always last on the totem pole. But again, we haven't had an athlete from any of the nations with majority black athletes come out and say anything. That's one difference right now. That's one striking difference right now. We haven't heard from Team USA. We haven't heard from Jamaica. We haven't heard from anywhere right now. We haven't. And I don't know if it's because LeBron and these people are occupied with the playoff situation and injuries. I don't know. And I think that's also the other problem why we have these issues that people are not consistent. It only becomes an issue when it's an issue for them. But we haven't heard anything, far as we know, from a major outlet about any athlete of color having an issue with this. And it could be also too that traditionally, since the 70s, since the Tommies and Carlos, uh did what they did, that the Olympics have been pretty clear on this kind of stuff. So people might be expecting this. But even still, the question is that, hey, I'm an athlete. I've trained for this for years. Do I now give this up for my cause? And that's a major question to ask people. That's like asking people. And I think because we look at athletics differently and we don't sometimes remember that this is a job for people, it's almost like asking, do I walk into my corporate spot and protest my racist company when I got bills to pay? And I think with Olympic athletes, we forget that these people are not millionaires. A lot of them have jobs, depending on who they are. If they're not, everyday runners and all season runners, and even in that, this is their only livelihood. So that's a big ask of somebody. Not saying they can't do it, but that's a big consideration.
It's probably not necessary for the, or you wouldn't hold it against the first year, Olympic star that might get the opportunity, right? But when you're talking about a Usain Bolt, you're talking about a LeBron James, you're talking about a Gabby Douglas, you're talking about those types of people,
Hmm.
clear expectations. And not only that, you're gonna probably, even if you are a first year or second year person, if you come out and you have that kind of, you're representing a country, right? In whatever you're doing, if you come out and you stand for something, you're gonna get endorsements. You're gonna become a, look at, like I said, look at, you say Rapino, I say Rapino. Megan, who, she's a star.
But that's an
She,
issue that is outside of race. That is an issue that more people can identify with. It's different.
you think more people identify with homosexuality than
Yeah,
race?
absolutely.
You're crazy.
No,
There's
it's
more
a
blacks
fact.
in this world than gays.
No, no, it's not factual. We make up
Me,
we make up a smaller percentage of the world's population versus people in their orientation. Orientation spans through creed, class, culture, ethnicity. It's totally different. And a lot of what Rapino was arguing about was more so for wage equality with Team USA, which is something that women across the world are going to ban with. And I'm not, I understand what you're saying about the level of outrage, but again, we're talking about Olympic athletes. Some of these people are everyday Joes that still train for the Olympics. Let's also be clear, it doesn't come every year. If you're a track and field person, you're a wrestler, you're a boxer, this is it for you. This is, you're talking about the Gabby Douglases who are only 1 in 20 years. Usain Bolt's only 1 in 20 million years. The LeBrons doesn't speak for everybody. So I mean, we at some point have to give these athletes a little bit more slack to say they're human. Just because what they do is not what we're used to doing, what we understand to make a living, we got to understand that they still got to live. And I think that's the difference why Huey Newton said you can't rely on somebody who relies on capitalism to fight for the people, because they're always going to need that money. And that's a fact.
Yeah, that's a fact. We know that. But you still, as a human being, not saying you don't got to show up, not saying you don't have to, participate, but you, you should be voicing your morals. Period. Period.
Everybody, but I mean, you've said that countless times. There's a standard or code that your employment, the other place of employment has. And if they set the rules, you expect your employees to do what? Follow the rules, right?
Yeah, but they're not employed by the Olympics.
The Olympics is their employer that's setting the rules.
No,
It's the
the
same.
Olympics isn't the employer. They represent a country. The rule
No,
is the rule is you can't wear Black Lives Matter. The rule isn't you can't go on Twitter and say, "Damn, that's fucked up."
the
That's not the
Olympic,
rule.
the Olympic, and I get that, and maybe they are doing that. We don't know, but the Olympics is clear in the federation of saying when you come here, you gotta abide by rules. The same thing an employer would say.
They're not
So yeah, not now. And I mean, we don't know that, because a lot, and again, this is the thing you don't realize. A lot of these Olympic athletes, we don't know who they are because they're everyday Joes. I went to school with a Jamaican Olympic athlete. She's an everyday Joe. She's a mom. She's an actor. I follow her now. Her husband got paralyzed in Olympics. She's trying to have a family, do the whole thing. I think Siobhan is still trying to run. I don't know, but she's an everyday Joe. I could. She's an actor. She does her thing, but I would never expect Siobhan to jump out and go ham on something, because I know she still got to make a living. All of these people are not millionaires, thousandaires. They're not.
sure, but she doesn't have to. You're talking extreme. I'm not talking extreme. I'm talking the simplicity of saying, "Wow, I can't represent a cause when I go to the Olympics." That is fucked up.
I'm not saying that she hasn't said that. What I'm
Right.
saying to you is all of the people that may go here don't have that impact to where you're gonna know. So again, that still doesn't change the fact that when they get there, they still might have to conform to the rules. This is
Absolutely.
a this
And
is a bigger
they're gonna have
issue.
to.
This
There's
is a
no
bigger
question they
issue
have to.
for the federations. This, if we
Who's
want to be,
who's who's taking the bigger hit? Who's taking the bigger hit? You don't think the Olympic Committee takes a bigger hit if the largest athletes, the largest athletes in the Olympics come out and say, "Wow, that's some
I, I
racist
don't
shit."
I don't think they feel it. Why? Because the nations aren't saying anything. If our country was so great, why is the United States Federation not saying anything? Why is Canada's Federation not saying anything? Why is Britain's Federation not saying anything? Why is Jamaica's? That's where it really lies. It's these nations and these federations that shouldn't even have to rely on their athletes doing anything to say something. Again, going back to the 1930s, Jesse Owens did what he did and couldn't even come back and get into the White House. It's the same thing repeating itself. The USA doesn't care about our movement, our people, because if they did, and I don't know for a fact that they haven't, but I haven't seen it. If they did care, the United States Federation that represents our Olympic athletes would say something, but they're not. It's a fact. Why even leave it to your players? As a United States Federate, as a nation, we know what's going on in our country. We believe in free speech. United States not gonna be there. I'm
Mm,
taking it out of my athletes' hands.
but now you're taking food out of your athletes' mouths. The shit that you're talking about. The
They can
average
they
Joe.
can, they can still get money from the federations. We're still gonna pay them the same. They got the money.
So what's the difference between them voicing it and the federation voicing it?
I'm not saying that they're not. I'm saying that you're not gonna know because most of the big time athletes, to your point, aren't saying a lot. But again, if the United States as a team, as a federation, does not believe in this, take your players out, give them what they're gonna get. And again, most of these people are everyday Joes anyway, so they're still working anyway. It's not like they've given up their jobs. A lot of maybe a 5% of these people are full-time runners throughout the year where they're doing meets and qualifying and things like that, but they're getting their money. They still gonna get their money, but as a federation, you're already paying them. Take them out of it. Take the team out. Take the team out.
Yeah, that's a larger scale because you might not have a whole team of people that believe in it.
But as a nation, we're sending a message, right?
Are we? Are
No,
we?
I'm saying if we did that as a nation, we're sending a message. We're saying we know what's going on in our country. We know what's been happening, and we can't support that. That makes total sense. That if we didn't do that, that's kind of hypocritical to Hitler in Germany, where they didn't have free speech. Even Hitler respected Jesse Owens for running, and even said on record to say, black people, why are you fighting for this nation that this guy just beat us in the Olympics, can't even get in the White House? He said it, and he
The
made
verb.
total sense.
So the verbiage says that athletes can't wear Black Lives Matter apparel, right? And so again, that's where I say one may assume that that is an attack on the Black Lives Matter brand.
Hmm.
Not saying that you can't say, hey, I'm against racial injustice. Not saying you can't fucking tattoo the shit on your arm. Not saying you can't write it across your chest or your back, right? It just says you can't wear Black Lives Matter apparel, right? And so that's why, as again, as a nation to intervene in that, they should be asking questions, and they may be. We never know. We don't know if they are. They aren't. Um, but that's why I say, for me personally, that's my hope. My hope is that it's an attack on the brand, given all the negativity that has come from the Black Lives Matter
As an org,
as an organization, not as a movement, right? As a
got it.
movement, we understand the movement, we understand it's necessary. I just hope, and I doubt it, right? I
Right,
mean, this is just me being naive.
right.
Um, but that's what I hope it's for, and if it's not right now, I hope that's at least the card they play later, you know, because if they don't, right now, to your point, you're teaching Americans that feel that way that that's okay.
Exactly.
And if it's okay in Tokyo, if it's okay at the on an Olympic stage, right? An organization that's hosting just about every nation in the world, then of course it's okay in Tennessee. Of course it's okay in Kentucky. Of
Yep.
course it's okay in fucking Idaho, right?
In Florida, and,
In
and
Florida.
that
In
that's the message they're sending. And again, these federations, again, we're talking about the Olympics. We're talking about something that was created to decrease world tension, to decrease violence around the world, right? And between nations. And if you're telling people of the world that the black people of your nation don't matter to the point where they can't express themselves, you're getting right back to when Hitler dominated Germany and hosted the games. And even he, as vile as he was, as damning as he was, and terrible as he was, and disgusting as he was, didn't do that. That's kind of saying something. In 2021, where are we? That's the bigger question. And I think, and I agree with you to a degree, but where are the nations? Where are the nations that should have some say in this? In 2021, you're telling people they gotta be censored? That's the biggest issue. And I don't know that it falls on Tokyo necessarily, on Japan, because they're looking at it economically. Hey, we trying to get bread, but I don't know their part. I don't know their part. I don't know that, their lack of their part. And you're right. How does that apply to it isn't being applied to the Asian Lives Matter at this point. It doesn't. It's not. I'm not
Would you
gonna I'm not gonna beat that community up for that, but it's clear what happens to our community.
would you kill baby Hitler?
I would think you have to. If I'm the Flash, I'm going back. The Flash, I'm going back in time. I'm gonna wring his neck. But the thing about that we always know about time travel and altering the time spectrum, we kill Hitler, another one who was much worse rises. We'd have had somebody much worse.
I'm just, when they say that, I forget what it's called, but um, you would be wrong for killing a baby.
Yeah, but you know what? One baby to millions of people, thousands of people, thousands of other babies. That's a sacrifice that governments make all the time. The only difference in that was Hitler was that person. He was a person to galvanize an idea, to really create, uh to not create, but to really put a technical um ideology on this whole concept of race. Because if you watch the documentary Kill All the Brutes, this identity of race and superiority has always been around. It just never was this coined. It was never this publicized and effective on the books, right? But it's always been there. When you look at religion, you look at how Spaniards and the Dutch and the French and etc. went to different indigenous places, and they had to make these people civilized, and they had to give them God, and they killed them, and they did all these things, right? It's always been there. But Hitler created something that I think lasted for years, even when you see young white boys now idolizing the Nazism when they would have never qualified, right? You could have killed Hitler, but the ideal was still always going to be there. The idea was always still going to be there. We know that how. Look at the tiki torches. Jews will not replace us. The January 6th, the incidents in Virginia. You know that thing. It one person is a vessel, but that message is the thing. That feeling is the thing. And I don't think people really understand racism to that depth. Like we always say, when you go back and look at the old lynching photos, there were little white girls there that some of them did not find it horrific enough to close their eyes and run away. Some of them were also screaming and yelling along with their parents. And guess what? That gets passed down. It gets passed down, and it gets passed down to where we have January 6th. And it's funny, today I was watching on Sci-Fi. They had Olympus Has Fallen movie, and then White House Down. And I remember just saying, Olympus Has Fallen, number one, had such a phenomenal cast. Morgan Freeman, Angela Bassett, countless others, Russell Crowe, right? White House Down was a little bit more cheesy with Jamie Foxx and my man Tatum. No, Channing Tatum,
Yeah,
right?
Channing.
Um, but I remember saying, "Man, this is so phony. This could never happen." And then January 6th, while the president wasn't in there, the vice president was in there. And how real has that become? I mean,
Becomes
we would
real.
never thought that would happen.
Yeah, it becomes real enough to the point where they found somebody, or he may not have had the ill will, but they found someone close enough to where Kamala Harris was supposed to be with a loaded weapon.
Mm-hmm.
That's how real it's gotten.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know if I would kill Hitler, baby Hitler. I don't know. Still a baby.
Listen, if I knew it could save millions of lives,
Still a baby.
mm, I mean,
It's
he
easy to
killed
say.
babies. He killed babies.
It's easy to say you would
He killed
until you
babies.
until you have that baby in your hand and you're
Okay,
like,
put it like this. Put it like this. If you go back, let's just say you're a person in Auschwitz or Holland, wherever you are, and let's just say Hitler kills your baby, and you can now go back in time knowing that Hitler's going to kill your kid. What would you do?
I'm gonna kill him.
All right, nothing to talk about. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
He didn't kill my baby though.
No, for sure. God bless. No, for sure.
You know,
But that was a real thing. And I went over to Germany. I saw the internment camps. I mean, the concentration camps. I'm sorry. There were still stains on the floor. Just being there, just going through Anne Frank's house, and just seeing all of that was a little different.
she was blind,
Mm-mm.
deaf.
I don't remember her having any physical ailments. I think she was maybe mentally challenged to a degree. I can't remember. Don't quote me on that. Um, but I mean, walking up the stairs, that like I one thing I remember was the attic that they hid in, I think, at some point, and just how narrow the stairs were, and how I physically, as a 13-year-old boy, struggled getting up those stairs. I could only imagine what it was like rushing to try to hide and get up those stairs. But a lot of that is just crazy when you think about it. And some people say, they had a choice because there were a lot of Jewish people that blended in, that hid. But I can't blame people for standing on the conviction of their religion and what they should have been able to live with. And I don't blame them at all, you know. And then there were people that were killed and identified that weren't just Jewish. They were gay. They were other things, and it's funny because Hitler himself was, you know, gay. Not gay maybe, but different in his desires and things. So in a lot of ways he killed people that reflected him, which is crazy.
It's a little sweet.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Crazy. Definitely got deep on that though. Sheesh.
He's still a baby though.
I'm killing
Baby killer.
him. You've killed a couple babies, bro.
Whoa, sir. Jeez.
You've killed a couple babies. No.
I mean,
No.
I mean,
Mm.
they, they might have been flushed. You know,
Whoa. I mean, oh, never mind. I ain't gonna say that.
we're swallowed.
Oh
Um.
God.
All right. So, you're OnlyFans pro now, and
Wow.
um, what do you got planned for Mother's Day? You gonna go, knock somebody's bottom out?
Mm-mm. Nah, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Your godmother really doesn't like to do much. So I don't know what that's gonna look like. But other than that, man, I'm gonna cool out. I'm gonna, chill out, man. I'm gonna get her something that I know she typically would like. But then again, with COVID, getting her a gift card to her favorite place hasn't had as much veracity to it.
Impact, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of tough. I don't know what to do, but thankfully, all I could do is thank her for the job that she has done for me. And I was thinking about this the other day and how she was like, we moved from the Bronx in Queens and then Nassau County, Long Island, so you could be in the best places. And I was like, the town right next door to me, Roosevelt, Long Island, they've been controlled by the state for the last 30 years because of the violence and the lack of academics. And then my high school had metal detectors and riots and things on the news all crazy. And it's kind of like, I guess at some point you couldn't escape the inevitable. And despite being in that, her words always rang true. Because when it was moments when I could have did stupid shit, all I could think about was her crying over my grave, her crying at my trial, her crying that she couldn't do more, and it was only her. It was only her, you know. We had a community of people, uncles and aunts, but there was no father that I could, model after, that I could learn from. Um, so I give her credit for that, man. You know?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Long Island, better or the worst, right?
Yeah.
There was a time there and when it was just the best of the worst. You know, you think about the Bronx, think about Queens, think about, Harlem, Brooklyn back then. Long Island was out. Same thing for us. We lived in the Bronx. We moved from the Bronx to Connecticut to Bridgeport, right? And Bridgeport at the time, shit, a fucking mess, but not as bad as the Bronx, right? So it's steps to get better, steps to make life better, right? And that's what they did for us. Your mom, my peoples. So we can only be thankful for that. We turned out to be all right, for the most
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
I mean, one of us frequents OnlyFans, so they have the power.
No, I think timing was everything, and I to your point, like, New York changed as I got older. So where, the city was violent when we were small, there was a point in time when Nassau County was the leading violent murder rate of the state. But you can't avoid that. The thing is that you can go anywhere. It's about the lessons that you go and teach. And I
Hmm.
think that's what stood out for me from her, even to this day. So it is what it is. But shout out to our moms. Your mom has always been a strong willed, very opinionated lady
Hmm.
who tells it like it is. And for that, we love her. We love them. And, salute to them. And salute to your wife and baby mama
Hmm. My son's mother.
who puts up with your bullshit.
I mean, that's what mothers do, right?
You
That's what
terrible,
makes
man.
that's what makes us motherfuckers.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, shout out to Cuz, man, who actually last time I was down there actually cared about me finding a good brunch. I ain't gonna hold you. She was like, "You want me and the baby?" I was like, "No." I was like, "No, I don't need no baby in here while I'm trying to pick up on my highness. But shout out
Nobody
to
cares.
Cuz.
Nobody cares about your brunch.
This is you're a jerk.
I mean, it's, there's some truth to that. There's definitely some truth to that. All right.
We're at 220.
So I don't know how to do my best Vari impersonation, but what
Shout
I
out to
will,
VP.
yeah, shout out to VP. What I will say is, um, we took a week off last week. We are
Mm,
back to it.
mm,
This week was a one-off evening edition, so that we could spend some time tomorrow with the women that are important in our lives.
mm-hmm.
And but back next week, back to normal, regular Sundays, Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning, um, somewhere between 10 a.m. and noon.
And two.
We'll get started. But we do appreciate, people checking in. We do appreciate people asking what happened, where were we, you
Mm,
know. Um, and we appreciate the support, and we would like for more interaction. You know, we got some more interaction. We got some interaction tonight. Shout out to Sean, who was checking in on us, checking in with us, and some others that usually check in with us. So, you want to hear something? Message us. You want to hear something? Comment on something we drop. You want to be on the show? You got something to talk about? Holla at us.
yeah.
We'll patch you in. Patch you in. Have a conversation, some dialogue, as long as it's meaningful. If you got a challenge, if you want to talk about how you love being a Republican, you can talk to VP. You know, that'll be a nice little back and forth. And if you're all about women empowerment, you can come argue with EJ. He hates women. He just loves their parts. Uh all right. No, but seriously, Castworthy Podcast, we can be found on Spotify, Spreaker, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. Um, we have a Facebook, search Castworthy, Instagram or Castworthy underscore podcast, Twitter, uh, look for Castworthy Podcast. Basically, anywhere you look for something, you can look for Castworthy Podcast, and you can interact with us. You can like us. If you subscribe on YouTube, you'll get the alerts as soon as we pop up. If you follow us on Facebook, you'll get the alerts as soon as we pop up and we'll record. And keep an ear out. Next week, we'll be doing a versus between EJ and myself on Instagram
Mm.
for Pharrell versus Khaled, 20 tracks, and EJ's gonna lose. So with that, we'll take you out. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day to all the single fathers out there. Um, hey, listen, we're gonna hear Happy Father's Day to the single mother. So Happy Mother's Day to the single father. Salute to you. You deserve to be loved and supported the same as the mothers, single mothers that get supported on Father's Day. So shout out to you. And that's it for us. Have a great night. We're out. Peace.